Good morning. Today you get to read with me. Today's scripture comes from the book of Psalms, chapter 23. Very familiar one, so please join me. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside still waters. He restores my soul. He leads me in right paths for his name's sake. Even though I walk through the darkest valley, I fear no evil. For you are with me, your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil. My cup overflows. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord my whole life long. Hear what the Spirit is saying to God's people. Thanks be to God.
Hi, Lucy. I've been pondering the purpose of life lately.
I'm working, Linus. Have you come to pay for my advice?
Well, before we begin, can I ask you something? What are your credentials?
I know everything.
Those are good credentials.
Yes, those credentials are worth 5 cents.
Do you think I would make a good psychiatrist?
For a question like that, I'm going to need to be paid in advance, because I don't think you're going to like the answer.
Well, what if your advice doesn't help me? Do I get my money back?
No, because as soon as you pay me, I run right out and spend it. It's one of the first things they teach you in medical school.
I don't think I'm cut out to be a psychiatrist.
Most people aren't.
There's so many problems today. I'm nervous about the state of the world.
Well, it used to be that one could stay isolated from the world's problems. Then it got to be that we knew all that was going on. The problem is now we know everything about everything except what's going on. That's why you feel nervous.
That makes a lot of sense,
5
Lucy.
cents, please. Do you think people ever really change?
Sure. I feel I've changed a lot in the past year.
I meant for the better. There's this Stephen ministry training at the church, and I wonder if I should look into it. Maybe I could even charge 10 cents a session after that.
Lucy, the Stephen ministry's not about making money. You can't charge for that kind of work.
Then what's the point?
Not everything is about money. The Stephen ministers are volunteers who walk with people in their time of need. They're trained listeners who act as a sounding board for those who want to talk.
All of us doctors are trained listeners. Communication with the patient is an obvious necessity. Therefore, it goes without saying that we doctors learn to listen.
Well, I'm very glad to hear that.
What? Stop that stupid sighing, Linus.
Well, there's nothing wrong with sighing.
There is if it bugs someone.
Lucy, you may be my older sister, but you're not my boss. You were not put here to tell me what to do.
I wasn't?
Lucy, maybe you should think about talking to a Stephen minister. You must be burdened all the time with other people's problems. It might benefit you to talk to another trained listener.
Well, I wouldn't want anyone to know I had to talk to someone else. It may interfere with my business.
Well, all the conversations are confidential, not revealed to anyone. Only you can even tell somebody that you're talking to a Stephen minister.
Well, I'm not sure a volunteer could help me. My problems are very advanced.
Well, if that's true, the Stephen minister can make appropriate recommendations for professional help. Why don't you try talking to one and see where it goes?
I'm going to think about this. Linus, little talks like this are almost always good. There's a certain value in the exchange of experiences. I suppose even I could admit I've learned a little something myself.
5 cents, please.
I've seen that now 3 times. It doesn't get old. Thank you. The Lord is my shepherd. I shall not want. The poetry, the psalm, these words. Psalm 23 is one of the most familiar, most recited, most beloved of our sacred writings. Penned long ago by an author who is unknown, the images of this psalm have provided comfort to so many. These words have been recited and prayed and narrated for countless generations. It seems fitting on a day where we are celebrating who we are as Manchester United Methodist Church, and specifically recognizing the caring ministries, that we focus on these words once more. Yet, not for the reason you might already be thinking about. Today, I want to offer the challenge to us that as beautiful, as lovely as this poem is, not everyone's pasture is green. Sometimes the waters are turbulent and stormy. Sometimes the path is curvy and windy, and sometimes doubles back on itself over and over again. And sometimes there's a great deal of fear. When life has offered up hurt and hate, challenge and confrontation, test and trial, it is hard. It is hard to imagine one's cup is overflowing with goodness that is supposed to follow us all of our days, and that the table prepared feels like it is in the midst of wolves. Life is hard. Life is difficult. Life can be challenging. As much as I want to believe in the beauty of this psalm and in the goodness of God who can offer it, sometimes, many times, we need a God with skin on. We need a Jesus who's in the flesh. We need a spirit that not only blows like the wind, but comes in the physical manner that is a real hug, a real note of encouragement, a real prayer, a real shawl wrapped around us. I'm Beth Hartenstein, Director of Congregational Care here at Manchester United Methodist Church. I have the privilege of being on the staff since late September 2022. I reside in the big office. It doesn't have any windows. I have heard it referred to as the cave because I don't like using the overhead lights, so it's a little dim in there. I am ordained in the United Church of Christ and come with more than 20 years of experience in pastoral ministry that includes congregational and hospital settings. I have sat at the bedside of those who have taken their last breath. I have baptized infants who were unable to take any breath. I've celebrated couples who found love and sat with those who mourn the loss of a love that has changed and gone away. I got to hear whispers of joy as I was told of new jobs being explored, and got to see and hold newborn infants who were just hours old. I've watched couples in their old age as they have practiced the vows they said long ago. For better, for worse, for richer, for poorer, in sickness and in health. I share all of that to say that I am honored and more than grateful to be here at Manchester United Methodist Church, a place where you put into practice what we believe, that as a church, we are called to heal a broken and hurting world. It is through the caring ministries of this faith community that the possibility of healing takes place. In my duties and responsibilities here, I have the privilege of working with and cheering on some outstanding individuals who are a part of the caring ministries. In just a few moments, when I highlight a group that you participate in, if you are here, even if you are online, I hope you'll raise your hand. And as you are comfortably able to do so, if you would please leave it raised until I invite you to lower it. The first team I highlight is our greeting card ministry. If you are a volunteer of this ministry, would you raise your hand now? These persons faithfully send cards and notes on a regular basis for birthdays and anniversaries, to express condolences and to celebrate milestones. Literally, hundreds of cards are sent each year by this group of volunteers. Thank you. You may put down your hands. But now I'd like another show of hands. If you have received a card from this team, would you please raise your hand? You may put them down. You, each of you, was a recipient, not just of a piece of correspondence. You received a gift of love and care, chosen especially for you. The next team is the hospital visitation team. If you are a member of that team, would you please raise your hand? In order to offer consistency of care, these individuals are persons who are willing to make a visit, offer a prayer, check with you while you're in the hospital, and offer you some care after you have been released. They drive miles to get to the designated hospital, willing to companion those who have medical issues happening in their lives, and speak words, comfort, and peace as beautiful as those spoken by the psalmist today. For those who have raised their hands, you may put them down now. Thank you. It is vital to this ministry team, to our pastoral staff, to myself, that if you are going into the hospital, if you find yourself there unexpectedly, if you need someone to come and make a visit, to say a prayer, let us know. Call us, email us, text us. Seriously, we cannot offer you support and care if we don't know you're there. Gone are the days when I first started my chaplaincy ministry, when hospitals would call, "Good morning, Manchester United Methodist Church. Here are the people you have at the hospital today." We can't support you, care for you, love on you if we don't know. So please, you or someone from your family, or perhaps even a friend, need to alert us. Otherwise, we simply don't have a way of knowing. We want to be available to support each and every one of you as best we can. Who could have imagined that some simple strands of yarn could provide such joy, such comfort, such care? The members of our prayer shawl ministry team knew that, and thus they began knitting and crocheting prayer shawls nearly 15 years ago. Since that time, it is estimated that more than 2,500 people have received prayer shawls. Let me just say that number again. 2,500 people. And then many others have received hats and scarves and baby blankets, all made by approximately 100 dedicated persons here at Manchester. If you are a member of that team, would you raise your hand now? Thank you. You may put your hands down. You can see some of the beautiful shawls here this morning displayed for us. Just recently, we discovered a large number of baby blankets that were stored in a closet. They have been repackaged and are ready to be given out at baptisms. Which one was given out this morning? So when a new child is welcomed into a family, or when a child gets sick, they are here. So if you know of someone who is in need, even if it is yourself, you may pick up one of the shawls today, or stop by the information center following our worship. Or you can drop by the church office. Call the church office. Call me. Prayer shawls are free, not even 5 cents, and are available to anyone and everyone who needs a little extra love and care. In 1975, a new way to equip persons to participate in the care and support of one another was launched right here in St. Louis, Missouri. It was called Stephen Ministry. In 1979, so just 4 years later, Manchester, UMC, began its involvement in that Stephen Ministry program, making us one of the longest participating congregations in this organization in the country. Stephen ministers, as you may have heard during the skit, are not pastors, they're not professional counselors, they're not therapists, they are not physicians. Stephen ministers are trained and supervised lay volunteers who care, who really care. If you have been or are currently involved in this ministry team, would you please raise your hand? Thank you. You may put them down. Our Stephen Ministry team meets twice monthly for supervision so that they can become the best caregivers and providers that they can be. I hope that you were reminded and or learned something new about our Stephen Ministry program through the skit that was shared just a short time ago. And the good news, as it was already shared, but I'm going to emphasize again, is that working with one of our Stephen ministers does not cost you 5 cents either. They are a committed group of individuals who are gifted listeners, patient guides, and faithful disciples. As a matter of fact, in just a few moments, we will be celebrating our newest class of Stephen ministers as we commission them. Thank you. Thank you for listening to my description of the caring ministries here at Manchester UMC. My words do not offer enough praise for the wonderful work and caring work and dedicated efforts of these volunteers who are doing the vital work that keeps us all connected to one another, to this community, and to our God. They are the ones, along with the pastoral staff, who are striving to make pastures as green as they can be, to help stem the tide of turbulent waters, who companion alongside individuals and families as they navigate death, divorce, sudden challenges, or even everyday ones. I am beyond grateful to be a part of the amazing teams here. I'm Mary Beth Hartenstein. I'm the director of Congregational Care. Notice I didn't say doer of Congregational Care. Oh, I hope that I am doing my share of that with and among you. It is truly my passion and my calling. I also know that the most important members of Congregational Care are each of you, the congregation. Congregational care doesn't happen without the support and participation of each one of you. Yes, you, and even the ones who chose to sit in the back row. If we look to Jesus in his words, actions, and deeds as an example of how to offer care and compassion and support, here's how our sacred stories tell it. He fed the hungry. He offered comfort to those who were hurting. He picked up a towel and a basin and washed feet. He shared words to console and to reassure. Therefore, the success of congregational care does not rely on me or my gifts or talents or skills alone. Thank goodness. It relies on each one of you, the members and friends of this congregation, to make a difference. For it is together that we are Manchester. We are Congregational Care. Therefore, you must be willing to send a card. Notice that someone isn't sitting next to you in worship. You might be willing to take a meal, make a phone call, send a text. As I close out my time here sharing what I am passionate about, I want you to receive this gift of song as a reminder of the importance of the ministry that we have to, with, and for one another. As you lean on me and I lean on you, for we all need somebody to lean on.
Sometimes in our lives, we all have pain, we all have sorrow, but if we are wise, we know that there's always tomorrow. Lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. So please swallow your pride if I have things you need to borrow, for no one can fill those of your needs that you won't let show. You just call on me, neighbor, when you need a hand. We all need somebody to lean on. I just might have a problem that you'd understand, and we all need somebody to lean on. Lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, for might have a problem that you'd understand. We all need somebody to lean on. So if there is a load that you have to bear, that you can't carry, well, I'm right up the road and I'll share your load. If you just call me, lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. We all need somebody to lean on. We all need somebody